Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to First Cut Live. We are here on a Tuesday night. It's going down on a Tuesday
Taco
for First Cut Live.
Tuesday.
I don't know what happened, guys. Monday nights are gone. They're out the door. They ditched us. So we are back again on a Tuesday. Apologies, guys, for taking a brief hiatus, but I'm here with the full crew. Who's in the house? Sabrina, RB3. Tell me how you guys are feeling today.
Oh, feeling good. Happy to be here on a Tuesday. I need some tequila and a taco stat. Thank you for reminding me, RB3.
You know, Cinco de Mayo, you know, it's Cinco de Mayo today too.
Yeah, it's like not a real holiday at all. Not in the slightest.
Yeah. To my Latino brother and sister, you know what I'm saying? This is why
it's like, yo, to all my white people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who love Cinco de Mayo.
Wait, so that's not a real holiday?
No.
Not really. No, it's not. Yeah, it's like more like a Taco Bell version of like a Mexican holiday or something.
Yeah.
I'll still take it. I'll take the love, bro.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, I will absolutely take it. Anything
I'll take
to
it, bro.
celebrate
Any representation we can get.
You know?
Wait, is this like fake news or like?
No, we're dead ass right now.
Because I was gonna hit Chili's after this, like, so I shouldn't even go.
Do it, man.
No, go to Chili's, celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
This is for
Venmo a Mexican $20, everybody. Whoever's watching this, go to your favorite Mexican, Venmo them $20. Okay.
That's the way.
Shout out to all the people celebrating. Hopefully you guys are having fun. It's a Tuesday. We are mostly gonna be doing First Cut Live on Tuesdays now, guys. So it won't be permanent, but at least for now, that's what we're kind of looking to. Apologies for that as far as these last few weeks, as I mentioned before, but Tuesdays will be our night. And while we were away, apparently you guys were freaking going to the cinema every day. Seemed like 20 movies, and we got some good movie news. RB3, how you feeling about everything in the movie universe right now?
Man, well, I'm feeling, I feel great. I mean, I've always said this is the comeback year of everything, So we're definitely feeling that. I'm definitely seeing that all the way around the box office for all these Devil Wears Prada, Michael, diverse audiences. We're gonna talk about that later. I got some screenshots to show y'all about like the demographic breakdowns and stuff. So yeah, it's a healthy season, healthy time to really be a movie fan, an AMC A-lister, best time to be invested, you know what I'm saying? They just renewed me this morning for that $27.99. I was like, gosh, dang, kind of hurt, but it's okay. I as soon as they hit that renew, I was like, all right, let me see Devil Wears Prada. I'm on my way back, you know what I'm saying? Just to make it hit. So, but yeah, that's, salute to all of these big movies that are coming out. It's been a good time.
Yeah, Sabrina, how you feeling about it?
Yeah, I think it's just been really fun. We've gotten a lot of movies, even talking about, things like Undertone, Forbidden Fruits, original stories, just kind of outside of the norm, I guess, from like any like studio films. So really excited about that. Obviously, I like Devil Wears Prada, but it is kind of like, going back into that sequel territory. But hey, if it's bringing people into the theater, that makes me happy.
Our next topic, RB3, is the biggest topic we got on film Twitter for the past couple weeks, and it keeps hitting. And that is Michael Jackson, the Michael Jackson movie by Antoine Fuqua. Finally, people got a chance to check this out. First things first, this movie did numbers at the box office. I think it did incredibly well. Obviously, the expectations were sky high, but when it comes to the combination of domestic and international, the worldwide box office is absolutely incredible. When it comes to that aspect, Sabrina, the hit aspect of Michael, how are you feeling about the box office success of it all?
I mean, I just feel like that was expected. I don't know how you can make a film kind of chronicling, a portion, especially the early portions and the real beginning of his rise to just like absolute superstardom. It's dazzling. Michael Jackson as a whole is still so widely beloved by so many people. Obviously controversial in certain aspects, but his legacy still remains no matter what you kind of think in that regard. So I'm not surprised by this in the slightest. I know they finally like officially announced that the second one was in motion. And, you know, we all just kind of expected that. I liked the film, so I think it's an all right biopic. I'm not a fan of biopics as a whole, but for what it was, I thought it was pretty okay.
Yeah, I believe it's over 430 million already, which is crazy.
Do you guys think it's going to
So,
hit 1 billion?
ah, I think it'll get close. I don't know if it will. I think it'll get close, very close, but I don't think it will hit it. But that is just my thoughts on it. It's just the rate that we're going, and then when it comes to what we have coming up too, I
Did
think
it
that might
come
get
out
in
in
the way.
all territories though? Because I know that our first week, I think it didn't come out in like Japan and some different areas. So I don't know if those will kind of round out those global numbers and then maybe help
Hmm.
push it past 1 billion.
Yeah,
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, I still think it's gonna get there because it's had incredible legs. It's only dropped 33.3%
Mm.
over last weekend, this weekend worldwide, which is crazy and it's phenomenal. The big thing that also is crucial to look out for too is how like a lot of younger demographics flock to it in the first like opening couple of weeks. And now old people are getting around to it. Like my mom, my grandma, like the older generation who like barely goes to the movies, they're gonna take like 4 to 5 weeks to like go out to see this kind of movie. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely gonna have a long shelf life, a lot of legs, and I feel like, it definitely has the potential to still hit those hit that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right about the older generation kind of taking their time to go see it. So I think that's a good point as well. I did notice that when it came to this weekend. And when it comes to legs as well, I think these legs are really good. I just don't know if it has enough to get there with what we have coming up, with the competition that we have. But that's just my
What are you
thoughts.
thinking as far as competition?
Biggest one is Manu and Grogu, I think is the biggest one. I know that's a little bit away. But I think that's definitely going to get in the way of anything they have going on. And then
I
what
think
else?
that's gonna like hit though. I don't know.
I don't think it'll hit, but I think it'll definitely take some screens away and take some viewers away
Yeah.
from it. And I
Yeah,
think it'll do well. I mean, obviously, I'm pretty good at box office tracking just on my own. I think it's going to do better than people think, or better than I thought it would do. People were saying like Solo numbers, and I think this is definitely going to do better than Solo for Mando and Grogu. And I know we're going off topic, but I think it'll definitely do better than that for sure. So
yeah. No, I think the biggest thing with with Mando and Grogu is that it just doesn't have a particular audience overlap. Like I feel like the Mandalorian and Grogu audience are not the same audience that are gonna see Michael in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, or if
that's
they
fair.
did, they already saw like opening weekend and stuff. I think like the fact that Michael Jackson is like such a big not movie star, but like star, international global star. And how like the Freddie Mercury movie had incredible legs too. Like even if you look at the Freddie Mercury, Bohemian Rhapsody, so far Michael is tracking ahead of that movie at in the same time of like its release cycle. Of course, Bohemian Rhapsody did come out during the holidays, so it did have them longer legs from like December, January, February kind of months. So that kind of benefited it more too, whereas Michael's in the summer. But on the flip side, though, I do think with these kind of music biopic movies, they just have a longer shelf life. I think Michael was proof of that. A Complete Unknown is proof of that. Elvis, which was another summer release, was in the top 10 for like forever. So I think like the legs we gotta see how the legs are gonna play out, but I think it's gonna be a pretty leggy movie, especially with the A- cinema score.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I think the legs is going to be the hardest, strongest thing going for this movie for sure. But when it comes to the critical success of the movie, let's kind of get into that. And I mean, I think our general thoughts on the movie, I'm going to assume, Sabrina, you kind of hinted that you really enjoyed it or that you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it
Is that
enough.
fair? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would say the same. I would say I enjoyed it. But this has become pretty intense on film Twitter, and I know I'm getting right to this conversation right away. But how are you guys feeling about the critics? First of all, first impressions of this movie when it came to the Rotten Tomato score. RB3.
Well, I kind of spoken a little bit in my personal review for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a seeming kind of bias about that, right? Like, I think a lot of times as critics, we're supposed to review the movie that we receive, not the movie that we ultimately wanted. And I think a lot of people reviewed the movie that they wanted. Um, they wanted a more serious, allegation laden kind of movie. Some critics did. Other critics did want legitimate depth and legitimate nuance to the film, and the movie didn't offer that. I mean, let's keep it 100. I mean, I like the movie a lot. See, this is why, okay, wait. Why are we starting with this though? Like, can we talk about our own thoughts first before we like get into other people's thoughts? Like, because I don't want to start negatively. Like, I'm gonna start with my personal thoughts first. I love the movie. I had a lot of fun with it. I saw it one time in Dolby Cinema, and then I kind of like sneaked into it another time, like when I saw another movie recently, Mother Mary. We're gonna talk about that later too. But you know, it's a phenomenal ride of a film. I mean, just a roller coaster of Michael Jackson music, beat by beat. It literally no dialogue, or barely any dialogue scenes. Like they literally are not trying to tell any kind of like human story. It is just a collection of like the greatest hits. And guess what? I'm okay with that because every other one of these biopic movies, Bohemian Rhapsody is like that. Rocket Man's a little bit different. Rocket Man's a little bit better. Elvis is kind of a little bit better, but it's also a greatest hits thing. Most of these biopic movies are greatest hits. Straight Outta Compton, literally just greatest hits after greatest hits. Doesn't really have any depth. This one didn't have any depth either. And I'm okay with that, because I'm okay with the Whitney Houston one. I was okay with Aretha Franklin. I was okay with all these other ones that are in the same style. So that's me. I liked it. I'm looking forward to seeing it a third time in theaters, maybe even a fourth, but again, I'm biased because I'm a lifelong Michael Jackson fan. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, how about you, Sabrina?
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you were just saying, I think, we have the standard biopic, which I haven't really just been a fan of overall. I'm a little bit tired by that concept. I think Rocket Man is probably one of the few that have kind of stuck out to me because I feel like it does dive a little bit more into like who Elton John was as a person versus like just a collection of greatest hits. We still sprinkle in some of those moments in there. And I think there was an in between from this film, and that's why I'm saying I liked it. I still enjoyed what it was. But I don't know if you guys saw the Springsteen movie that came out last year with Jeremy Allen White.
No.
That is the complete opposite. That is the complete other end of the spectrum where it literally is not a collection of greatest hits. It's actually showing everything that was happening in his personal life throughout his kind of like rise to fame. So I think with this film, if it just teetered a little bit more towards the middle of like going into who Michael was as a person, because I think we have those moments and we get it in glimpses, even obviously like spoiler, but I mean this has been out and a lot of people have seen this, but like and this is also a true story.
Right.
The moment where he has kind of like he gets Twister and he's asking for them to like hang out with him and play Twister and
Mhm.
nobody's hanging out with him. It's those little moments that kind of show his isolation where even though as like the entire world really, really loves him and just absolutely adores him and celebrates him, he didn't have that kind of connection too much with people in his personal life. And I wish we could have seen a little bit more of that. I know it's hard because there's so many things to cover when it comes to his story. I mean, again, he was like what, 10 years old when he became famous.
Mhm.
So that is a lot of life to cover versus somebody like, the Bob Dylan film. It was also a little bit different because it was just kind of this like certain stretch of time mostly. Um, so that's kind of just where I just wanted to see a little bit more. I wanted to know more about Michael, even though I've read up a lot about him. I think with his family being involved and with like just other aspects like that, I think there was elements in there that we could have put to kind of just get to know him a little bit better versus, oh yeah, like I saw you perform this exact performance of Billie Jean. Like, and that's great. It was beautiful to see on screen. And again, good time, but just want a little bit more.
Yeah, that's really fair. And I think I'm probably around where you guys are, but leaning towards a little bit of frustration, I guess, with the idea of making it just the same thing that we saw with Bohemian Rhapsody, because I think that's the best example, the greatest hits kind of thing. Because I do feel like as a film, it is a little bit difficult to analyze that, I guess, is the best way of saying it. I guess for me, it's like I was so negative on Bohemian Rhapsody. Like I was hyper critical of that because I felt like it wasn't a film. I basically said that every day when we had conversations about it. It didn't feel like a movie to me. It felt like a greatest hits album where people just went to the theater to do a concert movie. And that's why I was so critical of it getting, awards and being nominated for Best Picture and all that. Because I do feel like it's a little bit of a frustration when it comes to these kind of music biopics. When it comes to Michael, it's the same feeling I get, but there is a little bit more pep in my step because of the music. No offense to Queen, but I don't know that many Queen songs except for maybe one or two. I knew more Michael songs, and I think Michael's raw talent, even though that's not even what we're seeing on screen, which I think is even crazier, because the real Michael is even crazier. We're just seeing Jaafar Jackson portray that, which is already incredible.
He did a great job.
He did incredible. I was like, oh my God, this is insane. So the fact that it's Jafar doing that and we're already kind of blown away by it is the attraction of the show, is the attraction of the movie, is the fact that you get to see a raw style of Michael Jackson, like raw in the sense of like performance wise, and you get to enjoy the music. But as a film itself, it does struggle to kind of getting into, we just want to be having fun, clapping our hands, and maybe one or two sad scenes to get you in the movie. But at the same time, it's a difficult balance, right? Because it's the difference between the critical analysis of it all, but also this is good ice cream. I like ice cream, like that kind of aspect of it. There is kind of a little bit of a challenge there. So I understand it. So
like, sorry, I didn't want to cut you. I didn't want to cut you off, Sabrina.
I'm done. Yeah,
or Andres too. But yeah, this is like a Marvel movie for some people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and some people could just turn their brains off and just like any kind of Marvel slop and go for it. And this is what it is for Michael fans. And I kind of appreciate that we're getting, I guess kind of MCU is like so tired. Like I don't want to like keep doing that. Like MCU movies are great, but there's a lot of critics who just go into every Marvel movie and it's like, yeah, I like this, boom, because I like Marvel. I read comics. I grew up, reading, playing with these figures or whatever, or watching these cartoons. And now when people have that experience with Michael, but then, half the audience has the experience of loving him, and the other half of the audience has the complete experience of being like media brainwashed, like over all the years. And I get it, like. The Family Guy jokes, they were funny. Like, I laughed at every Family Guy joke they made about Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? All of the Chris Rock jokes, all of the, you know what I'm saying? All of the cases, all of the wacko jacko, all of the headlines, all of the, like, it was funny stuff. But that really did just ingrain in people's mind that, Mike is a weird guy. And people, I guess, want to see that. And, I said this in my review too, it's damned if they do or damned if they don't put that stuff in this movie, because if they put it in the movie but then portray it in a sympathetic light or in a, kind of glossy light, people would have criticized that. Hey, Clementine.
She loves crawling on my laptop, so I had to catch her before she could.
No, that's family right there. And then, but B, if they would have, as they did, they not address anything, people hate that too. So, damned if they do, damned if they don't. I like the movie, doggone it. F the critics, or F the critics who were hating because they wanted the allegation weirdness in it. Y'all are just being weird about that. I do understand if you're a critic like y'all are and are saying that, it didn't have no depth, no nuance, none of that. I get that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need that from this movie. I saw another movie. I'll just say I saw Mortal Kombat yesterday, and that movie's the same thing. Like, it's literally just fight scene after fight scene after fight scene. Literally nothing of depth, nothing of that. It's purely if you like play the Mortal Kombat video games, purely for those kind of people, and they're gonna eat that up. Like, so that's the kind of movie Michael is. There's another movie I was kind of like, kind of like that. Mario, Super Mario Galaxy, same thing, just like purely fan slop. Like,
Oh, I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like pure fan slop. So that's what this is.
Yeah, I do feel I don't know because I do feel like it's fair as a critic, and I know you just mentioned it, to say like if I don't get this kind of story or depth, then am I really getting a good film? I like the songs and I think they're great, but is there a good film in here? And if they don't feel that way, I think it's fair to criticize this movie in that capacity. I do agree with you. I don't think you should. I think there's the two sides of it, RB3, like you were saying. The this isn't what I wanted, but also the what I got regardless of what I wanted, isn't good, isn't a good story, isn't a good film. And I feel like critics are definitely fair to criticize that and to really put that into perspective. Because same as Super Mario or same as any kind of movie that critics feel like don't have that kind of depth. And I do agree with you, RB3. There is a section of the critics. I don't necessarily feel like it has to be superhero movies, but semi superhero movie adjacent critics who are like, I had fun. What a blast. Good time. And it's like, that's not good enough.
Well, that's why I really
So,
don't. I'm
yeah.
not the biggest fan. Sorry to cut you off. I'm not the
No,
biggest fan
no.
of like the first reaction tweets. I
Mm,
know for screenings they always encourage us to do the first reactions,
mm,
but it's like the if you're condensing your thoughts down into a tweet and you just saw the film and like you liked it enough, it's so easy to be like, this is such a dazzling display of this. And I feel like every single time it's so over dramatic because then when
mm,
you the person's actual review and it gets into the nitty gritty, it's like their tweet was not necessarily a good reflection of what their review is going to be like. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I hate that. And yeah, I agree with what both of you guys are saying. Like I think there's like a certain section of critics who are very pretentious, and then there's a certain section of critics, especially when it comes to maybe the TikToks or influencers or, and no offense, no shade, like hello.
okay.
Um,
A little bit shade.
no shade. But that's why it's like following people that are kind of like that happy medium where, I did not think Super Mario Brothers was going to be a good movie, but I didn't walk into it either looking to dislike it or wanting to immediately write it off. Like I was going to give it a fair shot. And we did our review, and it's not my favorite movie in the world, but there are certain elements to it that I enjoyed. And so I think it's like, yeah, finding that kind of like middle ground. And so for Michael, I know we talked about it, but in this case, like for myself, I enjoyed my time watching it. I think it's a fine film. I just wanted to see a little bit more, but I understand that there is so much ground to cover. I mean, the fact that they're putting these in part one and part two in general, and we still aren't even getting like most of his story in either
Yeah.
one of these. It is, I mean, there's so much to cover. I don't know if like a mini series, I saw somebody tweet out something that was really funny. It was like the only person, unfortunately, they're like, I don't want to say this, but the only person that could give us the Michael story we need is Ryan Murphy. And
Oh,
No.
obviously that is like a joke there. But
dang.
not saying Ryan Murphy, but I'm saying, you know what? I could have done a mini series, honestly. Like a mini series that maybe gets
Mm.
into some of this just a little bit more. I would have been down for that too.
Yeah, I don't think the Jackson estate would want that. And that's the other issue too, is
Yeah.
that no matter what people would say, ooh, let's get into the nitty-gritty and stuff. Like you said, RB3, like they're not gonna do that. If they do that, they're gonna make it sympathetic. They're just not gonna get into controversies that makes Michael look bad. That's just not what the estate wants. And that's
And I
just
think
what we have to deal with.
that's the unfortunate part about having, the real life people kind of involved in the story. I think it's
Hmm.
great to talk to them and kind of get the accounts, get everything like the facts straight. But when they have their hands in it, I mean, even with like Dr. Dre and Straight Outta Compton,
Yep, straight out of
obviously they're
Compton,
not
yeah.
going to show like the unsavory bits of, their time in that film. They're going to gloss over all of that. And that's understandable. I just wish we could not even necessarily see the bad, but just get to know him a little bit more because
Mhm.
throughout this time, like I said, that like isolation, that loneliness, I wish there was just a little bit more of that. I don't know, it just because I find him to be such a fascinating person with like a very tragic life at the same time as also experiencing a life that none of us could ever even understand in terms of the level of fame and everything. And so I wish it just grappled with that just a little bit more.
Yeah, the level of perfection that Michael had to live up to is it's like heavily hinted in the movie, but even then it's not quite like explored, deeply explored, in my opinion, which to me is like a disappointment in that capacity. But there's also a fair conversation if we want to kind of get back to the conversation as far as critical reception of it all, that between what you said, RB3, I'm kind of fascinated by what you said because you kind of nailed it. Um, the idea of genre and reviewing the movie for what it is. Like you said, like a Mario for kids, funny, goofy, silly, not really a good movie, but whatever. Or like even film critics who love Deadpool and Wolverine and Deadpool, and I think those movies are terrible. But critics love it, and they're just like silly, fun time. Great movie, 10 out of 10. And I'm just like, what? And there is kind of a sympathy that those movies get because of their fourth wall breaking, winking at the camera. What's
It's like
another
it's
word
a
for
little
it?
juvenile, and you're like,
Juvenile.
get to that standard.
Exactly. Whereas like the sincerity of like we're gonna be sincere with our love of something kind of gets clowned on a lot more, I guess. I don't know what you guys feel about that.
I agree with that. Like I think
Yeah.
anything that tries to be a little bit more dramatic is always going to
Mhm.
be more scrutinized, and like that's, I mean, that's even the name of the game in like film festival world, right? Like if comedies are very appealing to a lot of people,
True.
that's why they make a big splash, and then a drama film has to really, really be good to like get people on board. So yeah, that's I mean, and I was with it for the drama of Michael because I thought there was a lot.
Yeah.
I do think my criticisms are more also too about we didn't really get a lot of stuff that were not controversial. Like I want to see more of him doing like the Wiz. I want to see more of like that middle age Mike, because it's went straight from him being a kid straight to him being an adult. And I was like, oh man, I would have wanted to spend more time like kind of in that middle section a little bit too. But yeah, I liked it. But
Yeah, I think the limitations, unfortunately, are always going to cause, because it wasn't it like Diana Ross was cut out of the film because
Yeah.
Diana Ross wasn't allowing herself to be in the film.
Mhm.
So it's like, unfortunately, that's a big part of a certain era of his life, and it's like because of the limitations, you have to go around it, and it does kind of make even like Janet Jackson not being in the
Oh
film.
yeah,
No, that's
yeah.
another one. It's like you have to go around all of these limitations. So it is unfortunate versus like obviously an original story or something like that. You don't have to kind of worry about these elements, but it will hinder kind of the final result, just as it is. So
Yeah, I think what the movie does explore is just the pure talent of Michael. I think that's kind of what it is. It literally is just like, yo, this is crazy. The whole movie keeps telling you that. Like you said, Sabrina, the fact that he started so young, and was just like one of the most talented people ever as far as singers at 10 years old is just incredible. And the fact that he only escalated that with Thriller, which some people consider to be the greatest album of all time, and the basis of what we have for modern pop or just modern music in general. In the fact that Michael's talent is so generational and like it can just move generations. The fact that you can place Michael Jackson now and he would probably be the big star right now.
how
Um,
expensive he was as an artist, just in
yeah,
general. Like,
yeah.
his ideas going into like his music videos and
Mhm.
rehearsals and everything like that. Like, it is so interesting to see that, but I didn't have to see all of it. Like, some of that runtime could have been shaved off to have some room for certain elements, is just kind of like where I'm at.
Yeah, we didn't even see him taking so many hospital visits to sick children. Like I'm like after the third hospital visit, I'm like, all right, dog, come on.
Can I say,
We
I
can't
gotta
move
say
this.
one thing, and I'm not the one who said this. Someone on Twitter said this. Why is Miles Teller in this movie? Uh,
Yeah.
and apparently it's his lawyer like wanted to be in the movie, and it's this weird kind of, I don't know, I feel like the ickiness of it all. I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's all the limitations. It's all the people that want to have a kind of like
Yeah.
their hands in it. And like, this can't be in this. I want this to be in this. And so it kind of just manipulates the outcome at that point. And so that's where it's like, come on, dude, you do not have to be in this freaking
No,
film.
he did not. Uh,
No,
Well,
not
it
at
was
all.
weird.
yeah, that's just hey, look, I mean, people clowning on Regina or sorry, on Neil Long and
Yeah.
Coleman Domingo, because they're basically bragging about a part two. Listen, like if y'all think everybody involved in this is getting their money, everybody's just getting their money, all right? Like, and I'm happy to see people getting their money. I'm happy to see black people getting their money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't care if it comes off the back of a dead, maybe not pedophile, which he is completely innocent, by the way. And I want people to just like all these Gen Z mother effers on Twitter and everything. Like, y'all keep seeing these old clips, and I get it. They all do look weird too. They look weird. It looks bad. You know what I'm saying? But you got to understand, the FBI investigated this man and was like, nah. They had over 600 pages. Over 335 of them were released. And this is the same FBI that normally goes after black people, right? Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton. Even look, they went to Diddy's house. They looked around Diddy's place, said, look, why's there so much baby oil around here? Yo, this is weird. And then charged them with like 5 years to life. So then, like, well, Mike, they literally couldn't find nothing. That's all I'm saying.
I think at that point Mike was on a different level too, though. So to be fair, Mike was like ridiculously famous, powered, but yeah, there is a big
It is
portion of the
also
fan
is
base who
really,
wants
it
to die.
genuinely is so sad. Like
Mm,
looking back, I think it was like MTV gave him that like Artist of the Millennium Award,
hmm
and it was like a joke, and they had Britney Spears who wasn't in on the joke, like give it to
Mm.
him, and it's just like people were so terrible to him, and
hmm
like I don't know, I just find it to be really heartbreaking, and again, all the isolation and everything.
I think that's the thing. I think the idea is that there's clearly, I mean, even if you're a Michael super fan, there's clearly some mental health stuff that he had going on. And to just kind of bypass that to say like, whatever, he was just a friendly, fun kid. It's like, no, he was like a fun kid as a grown adult. But it's like, no, he clearly did have some mental health issues. And obviously now in 2026, we could see that.
And I also think you can't not, unfortunately. I mean, like even look at what like Justin Bieber, like people were like clowning on his like Coachella performance, and it's like, yo, when you're like thrust into fame so young, obviously I'm not comparing Justin Bieber and Michael Jackson, okay? But I do love One Less Lonely Girl. But I'm saying like same thing with Michael Jackson though. If you're 10 years old and all of a sudden everyone around you is just like freaking out over your talent, you're like just being uplifted in this way. Your like brothers are jealous of you because you're like getting the spotlight. You can't turn to your family. Your father's abusive. It's just like a mix of things. You can't necessarily not have some type of problems. And so that's where it is. It's like it stems from him being stunted. And obviously, our review is not supposed to be kind of like a analysis of who
Yes.
Michael was as a person, but I actually would have been curious to see more of that in the film, to be honest. But I understand this is going to be a mainstream audience moment of like going to the theater and watching this film. And so that's what happened. And that's why we see that disparity between the critic score and the audience score. I also do think the critic score is way lower than it needs to be for some reason. Like I'm just like that's doesn't really check out
Yeah,
necessarily.
it's always what it's always what we say. Well, we always say they put the black tax on it. You know what I'm saying? Like black tax on Rotten Tomatoes, 20% off. You know what I'm saying? Like anytime you see a black movie that the Rotten Tomatoes score is looking questionable, add 20% to that. That's usually like the accurate score.
Yeah, that's too
That's my
bad.
opinion.
Yeah, I do think it's fair for certain critics to again to criticize the movie for what it is, and if they feel like the movie was lacking depth, like you said, RB3. Um, but I don't think I do feel like it's difficult, right? I do feel like the what you get out of the movie that's given to you, if there is some enjoyment there, then it should be a little bit more positively reviewed, in my opinion. In my opinion, there
Going
should be
into
that
it,
included.
there's so much when you're reviewing a film to kind of take into account. To
Mhm.
say like 1 out of 5 stars or something like that, I'm like, that's a little bit egregious. That has to be like a complete incompetent film. I do not like Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's get one thing straight. I'm still not going to give it 1 out of 5 stars or something. I'm going to be like, okay, you know what? This was cool. This was fine. This was great. Okay, cool. And yeah, maybe it's few and far between for my pros versus my cons of that film, but it's still not going to be like 1 out of 5. Maybe like a 2, maybe a 1.5, maybe. But, whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say I might give it. I'll give it a 1.5 because of Gambit's funny line, and that's it.
See, that's literally one of my that, and also obviously Wesley Snipes popping in. Come on, that's another half star right there.
But that's a funny perspective. Last night, just literally last night, I was looking up reviews for the new Invincible game, the fighting game, and this guy who was criticizing it, making a review for it on a YouTube channel. I'm not a gamer. I don't follow a lot of game critics, but he was talking about like if you like the show, you're gonna forgive a few things versus if you're just like a fighting game expert who's like looking for technical analysis. And he said if you make a fighting game that's perfect with all the technical stuff and you just put like random IP, Steve versus George, it's just not going to be as fun if you're a fan of, like you said, RB3, the music, if you're a fan of having a good time with stuff and stuff you appreciate. So that's true when it comes to critical analysis.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I know we got a lot of things to move on to, so I don't want to keep us here forever. But we did mention my GOAT, Justin Bieber, and you know what time it is whenever we mention Justin Bieber. You already know.
One less lonely nigga. One less lonely nigga. One less lonely nigga.
Yo, that's your GOAT. That's your GOAT, Sabrina.
Well, I never said he was my GOAT ever.
Yo, stand up. Stand up.
What? I never once said that.
My bad.
Yo, man.
I love me some JB, man.
Bro, he's in this. I don't know, man. He's in that middle ground for me. I told you guys when we were in person, but he's Scooter Braun, weird type shit going on there. I don't know, man. There's some weird shit.
I just think like it's unfortunate because I just don't think children should be famous. But then it's impossible because it's like, yeah, they're in shows like Macaulay Culkin, like you just like everything, and so it's I don't think we should be sitting here. Even like the Stranger Things kids, I guess that's like a recent example of like, one of them talked about like a 40-year-old woman went up to him and was like, I've been in love with you for 8 years. And he's like, I was literally 11. Like, what do you mean? And I just don't think this is normal. And so, yeah, I'm against any like child.
It's getting weird out there. And I think we need to call it out. So definitely. Last thing I want to say, like you said, RB3, for moving on, Jaafar. Shout out to Jaafar. I know a lot of people have sang his praises, but I'll be the next one to do it. I think he was incredible. Really did embody just the Michael persona, performance, dancing, performance, all that good stuff was in there. So shout out to him. Also, he's Colombian, which is crazy. He's half Colombian, so I think that's kind of fun too. And he mentioned how him being half Colombian, he did have like that little Latino kind of spirit vibe in him in one interview that he did. So I thought it was funny.
Hey man, we out here, man.
And then,
yeah, we are.
Giuliano Valdi as well. Is that young Michael Jackson? So good. So good. Both of them were fantastic.
Incredible. RB3, do you have Mr. Nolan?
Okay, yeah, I'm down to go back to that. Yeah,
coming through the chat.
Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, let's do it. But okay, let's do it. I have to do one technical thing. I'll do it real quick. All right, here we go. It's gonna happen. Ready? A countdown. Y'all ready?
No. Give me like 5 seconds.
Okay. You're freezing again too, brother. Just to let you know. You know what I'm saying?
See, every time I pull up the Odyssey trailer, I freeze.
All right, yeah, maybe. Okay,
on
maybe
your phone, maybe or something.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. All righty. Oh, sorry, I didn't do a countdown. Yeah, we started. All right.
Tell me what you remember.
A wife?
Kind of in sync. This is the right one?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
A son.
All right. This is the first half what I was looking at before. Okay. So, and the Charlize Theron. All right. So this is, okay, now we're cooking with money. Okay, we're cooking with money. Here we go. Prologue.
Help me go home.
This is a household waiting for master. I want you to choose me.
Robert Pattinson and his accent.
Ithaca is coming back. No, he's not.
would he do if he came back here and find all these shooters in his house?
They're pining me for a daddy you didn't even know. Like some sniveling bastard.
Uh-oh. Some sibling rivalry?
Who's looking after your wife and son?
They find no reason there?
My dad is coming home.
Bringing
Big boats.
vengeance. Bringing it all.
Yo, look at that. You know, ain't no CGI in that. That's all extras. Yo, look at these big guys. Yo.
I need everyone at this party dead.
Oh, Rob Pass. Oh, man.
You're a man who needs
Got
to
the
control
white
his
beard.
fate.
Charlize.
But you cannot control this.
That world is gone.
No one could stand between me and home.
Wait, stop the Botox.
Not even the gods.
For real.
I think it's asleep.
Yo, is that an ogre? Like, what do we talk? Or what? I don't even know what that thing is called. Like, yo, that was looking crazy. Yo, that was sick. I don't know. What y'all think? What y'all think?
What you think, Sabrina?
I mean, it definitely looks epic in scale. Hello. This cast is very fascinating to me, or I guess some of the main ones, you know, the Tom Holland of it all. Anne Hathaway, I love her to death. She needs to be able to move her forehead. I feel like it's such an hindrance as an actor for you to like get too much Botox. You can't be making these faces. I'm young, so I'm young. So I don't like mine doesn't move too much yet, but like I do. Like Sydney Sweeney, I don't like her. I don't like her. But in Euphoria, you could tell she's not getting Botox because she's able to emote properly. I feel like you lose out so much, especially if we're talking a period piece, we're talking an epic. I don't know. I just feel like you need to cool it. It goes away after like 3 or 4 months. Before you film this, just don't get Botox for that period of time. And then you could get it afterwards and everything will be fine. That's taking me out of it entirely. So I'm curious to see how that's going to end up in the film. But yeah, looks cool.
I think it looks epic. I can't wait. I'm so curious. I think I'm gonna love this movie. I think there's no denying that. I'm just curious how everyone else is gonna love this movie because I do think it will be a little bit more challenging than that trailer showed us. I don't think it'll be just straightforward like coolness, actionness, you know, A to B kind of stuff. I think it'll challenge us in some capacity. I think Nolan is known for that. I think he even hinted at that. I want to say in a tweet that I saw where he said it's a non-linear story. I don't know if you heard about that, RB3. But I'm sure there's going to be people who might be too blown away by it, too challenged by it, and don't really come to terms with what the movie is communicating. But as far as me personally, I can't wait. I think it looks awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and oh man, you know, my dog Dylan could probably speak to this a lot better than me. Dylan is a real one, y'all. Like Dylan's a real Nolan, you know, guy. You know what I'm saying? Because last night I invited him to see Mortal Kombat with me. I invited a lot of people. Nobody wants to see it. I don't know why. You know, I know why nobody wants to see Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying? But
I was busy, but I wasn't running out to see it either.
No, it's true. No, literally, like nobody came. But it was funny, like. I had Dylan. I was like, "Yo, Dylan, you want to rock with me?" He's like, "Nah, I gotta lock in the Colbert. They're debuting the new Odyssey trailer." I'm like, "Dang, you locking in the Colbert to see the Odyssey trailer right on the head? Like, that's my dog right there." But yeah, he could probably break it down a lot better than me. But yeah, it's not chronological. They say it's gonna be, you know, 3 hours plus. You know what I'm saying? And it looks like there's a lot of action. I mean, the prologue that they've been showing in front of all the IMAX releases lately, it's a lot of action in just that little 6-minute bit, you know, and I'm sure that's truncated, but that seems like at least based on this trailer, almost like an opening kind of segment because they're talking about, oh, we did the war and like, You know, it seems like that's kind of like the setting up kind of situation, like before we even get to the mystical stuff. So if the opening is that epic and we still got these giant 7-foot MFs we got to slay through and, you know, and all of that, that's crazy. I mean, it looks crazy. The ogres look crazy. Or I don't know, the one-eye people, I don't know if they're ogres or not, but yeah, Cyclopses. Yeah, there we go. Looks crazy. And yeah, I mean, you know, I didn't even know what I didn't know the Botox thing, Sabrina. I always thought Anne Hathaway was top 3 baddest in the game, like still.
No, she 100%. Do not get it twisted. She absolutely is.
Right.
She is like literally a vampire. I know there's those like things about her husband looking like William Shakespeare and then his wife being named Anne Hathaway and she named Anne. So people are like, yo, are they just like vampires? Like, is her husband actually William Shakespeare? Which obviously I don't believe that, but she's incredible. I love her so down. I'm actually, another thing I will say is she has so many movies coming out this year. Obviously, we had Mother Mary, Devil Wears Prada.
Mary, that's right.
She has Verity. I think she has like 5 or 6 total, and they're all different genres. So I'm so excited to see her on screen multiple times this year. I love her. The Botox stuff really, like, again, period pieces and when somebody has like iPhone face, it really takes me out. Like it genuinely is something that upsets me. Like I think Dakota Johnson was the lead of a Jane Austen adaptation, and it's like that girl knows what an iPhone is. She has like Stanley Tucci's cookbook. She lives in a beautiful, like, you know, whatever. She's not in a period piece. But have you guys read the story of the Odyssey?
I haven't, no.
Nah.
Okay.
Probably Sparks.
I was gonna say because I have, and I think from what I was expecting of an adaptation, I think this trailer really, really delivers. I think it's exactly what you said, Andres, where like there is going to be a lot that audiences are kind of going to have to like grapple with on this journey of the film. But I'm really, really excited to see how he brings it to life, because I think if somebody is going to do it, it has to be him, and I think he's going to deliver.
How do you guys feel about the summer release of it all? Do you think that's a good time for it? Do you think it'll be a box office hit?
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
That July, that mid-July spot belongs to Nolan. That's Nolan's ride or die spot, you know, from The Dark Knight. That's that date. You know, he's been holding that date since 2008, and I'm looking forward to it. Perfect spot, perfect timing, perfect release. You know, this has been one of the best marketed Nolan movies, I feel like, because a lot of Nolan movies, they try to hide the ball, secrecy, and there's a lot of secrecy around this movie too. But this last trailer, I was like, yo, we saw Arpats, you know, we saw Anne Hathaway, we saw a little bit of Lupita Nyong'o in the last trailer, we saw Travis Scott in one of the Super Bowl. It's like, they're literally teasing. It's Charlize Theron, who I completely forgot was in this movie. Like, she's playing a crucial part in this trailer. It's like, yo, okay, like, this is literally every major actor in Hollywood in this. Like, you know, I'm hyped. I can be more juiced, honestly.
And already in his crazy career, like this really has the potential to be his magnum opus. Like, and I truly believe that he sat on something like this to get to a point in his career where he had the ability. We're talking like marketing, budget, everything, and even just like the acclaim, which of course he had the acclaim for a very long time, but coming off of Oppenheimer, this is like the perfect time to release something like this. And I think that will definitely translate in terms of box office. People were already like freaking out when they sold those original tickets. Do you guys remember that? Like, what was it, like 7 months ago already?
Yeah.
I think it's like a year before release. Yeah, they sold those tickets and they sold out within like minutes, not even seconds. I really think the summer box office makes a lot of sense. And I'm also really excited. I hope this forges a path of like summer box offices lending themselves to films that are kind of outside of what we've come to expect over the last 10 years, which again, the Star Wars, the Marvels, like all that kind of stuff, as much as I have enjoyed them in previous times, I'm so cool on seeing like an epic one, like in theaters. Like that's what I'm actually genuinely down for. So yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah. To get something just as epic as a superhero movie, but making it something completely different.
And a story like this, people, everybody can now go and read this one. Like that's kind of cool, you know?
I was saying we might get kids back on the reading now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if
Chat GPT, get a summary of it. Please
Yeah.
don't do that, guys.
I was
Don't
gonna say it's ChatGPT. I feel like when I put something in ChatGPT, it only gives me like the first 10 pages or something, and then like it BS's the rest. So like people don't
use ChatGPT
Oh.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
for what?
Delete that.
For
Delete that part.
Yeah, I'm like,
I think y'all are too optimistic. I don't think these kids are gonna read, man. If they haven't read for like Dune, they're not gonna read for this.
No, but
Dune is a huge uphill battle. This is a way shorter story.
Okay.
and
Way shorter.
and but book talk is real. Book talk is
real.
Yeah, book talk.
That's very true. I that's fair. I agree. I think there are kids that are reading. I just don't think it's that many young men, young boys.
Oh yeah, now we're gonna
They're
see
too
this
busy
movie.
smashing their faces with hammers and injecting themselves with peptides on kick or whatever.
Yeah, they're too busy maxing on Max. I don't know, whatever that is.
We're gonna be Odyssey maxing this summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nolan maxing.
There we go.
Straight up.
Nolan maxing.
IMAX maxing. IMAXing.
Oh man, somebody
Good
got
ass.
Yo, we gotta become IMAX influencers. Y'all saw the thing when I was at the Grove yesterday for the Mortal Kombat thing. That whole thing for Mandalorian and Grogu. So
I saw that. Yep.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
So I was like, why didn't we get invited to that? But that was only 20 minutes, so that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for all these movies coming up. I'm even excited for Mortal Kombat. Call me crazy. Excited to see some fight scenes there, but that should be fun.
Yeah. Going from one halfway movie to another.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mother Mary, right?
Or Devil Wears Prada, whatever.
Oh, which one? Yeah. Whatever you guys want.
Let's do it.
Devil Wears Prada. Okay, so I know only me and Sabrina saw this movie.
Yeah.
This is, if you have seen the first Devil Wears Prada, which came out in 2006. Oh man, basically like 20 years ago.
20 years, yeah.
Yeah, and this is a follow-up with the return of pretty much all the original cast, the original director, David Frankel, as well, and the original screenwriter as well, whose name escapes me at this exact moment. But long story short, yeah, we get a true follow-up to a lot of these characters. Stanley Tucci still at Runway. What was
Miranda Priestley?
Miranda, yeah, there we go. She's still running things. But now Anne Hathaway, she comes back as a senior editor, new in her profession, highly advanced. I'll be honest with y'all. I never really watched the first movie all the way through until like last week. I'm super late to it. I've seen mad clips and I know like the overall mythology of it, but I never really saw it. And seeing it recently, very relatable in terms of like my workplace, dog. Like my boss is very much like a tight, you know what I'm saying? Like with the whip. And it's like same kind of energy as this Miranda lady. Now Miranda's more lovable, actually, okay. I'm about to have to edit that part out too. Anyway, but yeah, it's just very relatable with my thing and very relatable to my workplace environment and climate. And then this one was even more relatable to me too, because it's all about the digital age of journalism, because I work for LA Sports Report for like a sports media thing. And it's all about like, no more magazines are kind of exist anymore. It's all digital. We have to go for clickbait headlines. We got to go for things that are catching the zeitgeist. And, Anne Hathaway, she is an esteemed journalist, as we saw in the first movie. She's not trying to write that BS fluff police stuff. She's trying to get deep with it. It's causing conflict with the new heads of the company. Again, media conglomerates. Kind of get commentary on that too. BJ Novak, is playing the son of the, executive who
It was Levi Rabbits.
Yeah.
Was his dad's name?
Yeah, or Irv or something.
Something Irv, yeah.
Yeah, Irv, I think Irv Rabbits or something like that, yeah. And then anyway, the son of the billionaire comes in, tries to take over the organization, tries to make some business move. Emily Blunt comes back. It's a cool, I don't want to get too much into the story because it's honestly it's a little bit more of a complicated story than you would expect in like a legacy sequel. But it's a lot going on, but I had a lot of fun watching it. I was highly entertained. I don't know what you thought, Sabrina.
Yeah, I mean, I really adore the original. I think the original is more of like a coming of age type of story with Anne Hathaway's character, coming out of college, dealing with toxic workplaces, stuff with her friends and her boyfriend, and kind of how she navigates all of that. Obviously, with the focus being on that office and working at Runway. But with this one, we're seeing her 20 years later. it kind of gives like somewhat of an adult coming of age, but again, a lot more like heavy, because it is kind of talking about death of journalism. We see Runway, which is basically Vogue, and Miranda Priestley is basically supposed to be Anna Wintour, and stuff that used to be so highly esteemed, as you're flipping through pages of a magazine. When those were coming out, it was like a moment. Like people got excited to gather around Vogue, or in this case, Runway. And now it's like just slop on your feed. And like we're saying, like you have to clickbait to get attention. People are scrolling past all these different things. People are like, oh, your article was so great. I didn't even like read it, but I saw what it was about, and that's awesome. So I think overall, the four performances, the people that came back, or at least like the core cast of characters that came back with Meryl Streep, Stanley Tucci, Emily Blunt, Anne Hathaway, thought they were incredible. I think the changes that they made to all of their characters 20 years later made so much sense for each one, kind of like even like where Emily ends up, because her character is also named Emily. And I think the fashion is like the most important part. And so for this one, Molly Rogers. So Patricia Field did the original film, and Patricia Field is most known for doing Sex and the City. And Molly Rogers worked with Patricia Field on Sex and the City and the original Devil Wears Prada. So now Molly Rogers took this one on. And I think a lot of the fashion does really tell a story. Like if you pay attention to all of that, for example, like not to get into spoilers or too much into the story, but just where Emily ends up. People talk about quiet luxury. I know that's like a big thing now where it's like no logos or none of this. Think of like Sophia Richie, I guess like Hailey Bieber a little bit, a small amount. And, even who Miranda Priestley is, like Anna Wintour, like she's just not going to sit there and wear a bunch of like loud logos. And then Emily, it's perfect because the character that she is, what she represents in the industry and everything else, like she's wearing all these like conflicting logos, like all these different Dior. She's wearing a John Galliano newspaper sweater to literally sit at like Lake Como or whatever they're at. It's just so interesting. I think the biggest thing outside of the story, the performances and everything else, what they needed to nail was the fashion. And I think they did an incredible job of that. I think it was really, really fun. A lot happened, and there's certain things that I think weren't the most like necessary in the world. It feels like they added this romantic interest in this film to kind of make up for the shitty boyfriend she had in the original film. Because I don't know how you felt, RB3, revisiting or like watching the whole film for the first time now with her friends and her boyfriend. Were you kind of like, yo, they suck?
I didn't think the friends sucked. I thought the boyfriend was a little like. He was a little dense, He was kind of like that kind of like classic. It's funny, like 2006 was such a different time of like back in the day, like the lady being a breadwinner and the guy being the stay-at-home guy was like progressive. Now it's like, oh, this dude's leeching. Like, why is this dude leeching? And especially the first movie, you know what I'm saying?
And then also making her feel bad about her career and who she is and all these other things. Yeah, I think the scene that bothers me the most is when she's like out to dinner with her friends and Miranda's calling her work phone and they're all passing it around and she's like, give me the phone, like I need to answer. And so it's little stuff like that. Like, it's just like, that's so disrespectful. It's crazy. I hate them. But obviously they made the friend better in this film because that's the same friend all these years later. And then, they have that love interest. So overall, like, I don't think this is a perfect movie, but I think it's like waiting 20 years to kind of have a story that centers on how, again, journalism has evolved, how the fashion magazine and magazines in general has evolved to this point. I think is a really interesting topic to kind of tackle. And I do also, Simone Ashley's character was really funny because she's like the current assistant. So like Emily Blunt's character in the first film. And it is really funny to have like Miranda have those like woke lessons,
That was that made me laugh a lot. Like every time they were like, she got HR violation for throwing her coat at somebody. Like it's like like now she's hanging her own coat. She's like fumbling all over the class. Like, oh dang, like
she's like getting out of breath from like hanging up her own coat. She's like, oh. Meanwhile, in the original film, we have that montage of her tossing the coat at Anne Hathaway every morning. I think it's just overall really fun. I came into it with like a little bit low expectations just because I'm not the biggest fan of like long awaited sequels. But when it deals with the story like this, and it really highlights what has changed from then till now, and it has something to latch onto and commentate on. I think that that was definitely its strong suit. So I really liked it. I think it was like 7 out of 10 vibes.
Yeah, definitely strong 7 out of 10. It's not groundbreaking cinema, but it is definitely better than like your average legacy sequel for sure.
Definitely.
And then I do think it is fun, you know, like it's of course it's a Disney product, so like Disney knows exactly the way to like how to get everybody, all the demographics in, and like, you know, really, I mean, this is kind of slight spoiler alert, even though they kind of advertised it a little bit, but the film kind of ends with like kind of in a 90s way, where we kind of get like a music video from Lady Gaga like, doing a big performance there. I was like, yo, what the, like, what? Like, it's like a classic 90s movie of like, oh, we're just gonna like have a concert like at the end, like what? Like, and I was thinking like, dang, why did they take away Dolby screens from Michael? Like, is this movie being released in Dolby Cinema? And then they got to that, I was like, oh, okay, I see. Yeah. Yeah.
The moment she popped up, I freaked out. I love her. And then even like, I know there's so many like minor characters or like supporting characters. There's so much to get into, but yeah, I really did like BJ Novak's character as well, because he was so annoying. Like he's like in athleisure. He's like, when he brings in like the suits over to Runway, and they're like in the cafeteria, and it's like, oh yeah, this is how we maximize this, and like all this other stuff. And it's just like, oh my God, I hate this. But yeah, I think it's really interesting to see, you know, again, people like him, because his dad had more respect for, you know, fashion magazines and all this other stuff. He just had more respect for like the craft. And clearly he's coming in, doesn't really understand it, doesn't really have respect for it, and just wants like profit. And he will cut corners in any way possible to be able to do that. And it also, something that's insane, again, because you mentioned Disney, this is the first thing that came to mind. This is all the way in the beginning of the film, and this is what kickstarts the whole story. But Anne Hathaway's character is a very accomplished journalist. She gets laid off from her job. Her colleagues all get laid off. They're all very successful, and very, very acclaimed. And then she makes a comment, and it's like, oh, the CEO got like, you know, of course we're laid off, but the CEO got a payout of like 11 million or whatever it is. I just feel like it's very ironic for Disney to, I know it's like, it's the story, it's the writers, all that kind of stuff, but like very bold of them, considering what has been happening over the last few weeks, how many jobs have been cut out, how many people that were like groundbreaking to the creation of some of their most celebrated films, people who had been working there forever. Wasn't that story of like Toy Story 2, where the film was almost completely lost and this one woman saved it? And I think about like a year and a half ago, she got laid off. Like, this is absolutely insane. And then obviously we have these CEOs getting paid so much. And then with the Paramount merger as well, it's just kind of ironic for Disney to come out with this film, or I guess 20th Century Studios or whatever, when they're doing the same thing. So I don't know. Hopefully maybe somebody can watch it and it could kind of be a wake-up call. Probably not, but
yeah, no, it's commenting on all that. So yeah, so precisely. I mean, but also too, yeah, it's ironic coming from Disney. Same thing with like Deadpool and Wolverine. We're just talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, how that whole movie's them making jokes about, oh, we're a mega corporation and we could just buy things. Like, it's like, oh, we're kind of seeing that play out in real time, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I will say too, the Gaga cameo was funny. They had a cameo from, you know, a couple NBA players. They had a Karl Anthony Towns in there, showed up for a brief minute. And then they had John Baptiste, who was the Oscar-winning musician, had a small cameo in there too. Laura Roach. Yeah, it was like a fun little ensemble of cameos. I heard Sydney Sweeney had maybe a cameo in there somewhere too, but then they cut that out allegedly. So yeah, I mean, I could kind of see why. There's so much happening. That's why I did big box office, is just appealing to all the crowds. And really, you know, honestly, the demographics that it's appealing to is kind of interesting. I pulled this up, or actually, well, I meant to show this during the Michael thing, but this is the top music biopics, and Michael's pretty much almost there at number one. But anyway, for Devil Wears Prada 2, and it's courtesy of the Dan Murrell show, the opening weekend demographics for Michael were very interesting. Like for Michael, 38% Black audiences, 26% Hispanic audiences, 24% white. But then for Devil Wears Prada 2, it was like 48% white people. It was so many white people watching Devil Wears Prada 2. But there was also a strong amount of Hispanics and Black people watching Devil Wears Prada 2 too. So it's just a funny kind of, they really did try their best to like go out for like all the demographics possible. But it also heavy, of course, a lot of women watching both movies, Michael and Devil Wears Prada 2. But I'm liking it. I love it. I love the diversity in cinema that we're getting right now. It's great.
Yeah, I think again, like going back to Anne Hathaway coming out with a range of like genres this year, I think is really fun. And I think that like that shows that cinema's headed in a good direction. Yes, she has her like legacy sequel, but she also has really cool films like Mother Mary and different things like that. And also another shout out because Meryl Streep doesn't really do sequels. I don't even know how many she's done in her career, but like I know she's like super against them. That's why spoilers for Mamma Mia 2, cover your ears if you don't want to hear this. But that's why she's like not in that one because she just doesn't do sequels. And she is literally the mama in Mamma Mia. So
dang,
crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She killed it in this one though.
She did great. Oh my gosh. Like that's another thing. It's the witty dialogue and all those like punching little bits. So like Emily Blunt's character had so many good ones in the original along with Meryl Streep's character, and that lent itself here too. And also the dynamic between Stanley Tucci and Anne Hathaway's character, so beautiful, so stunning. It was stunning in the first one and it's so good in the second one. He's phenomenal.
Absolutely. Cool. Yeah, I'll see if I start. I haven't seen the first one. I don't think I've ever seen this movie. So I'll have to see the first one before I check this one out. But it sounds interesting. It sounds like a fun time. You guys saw a bunch of other movies you guys wanted to give shout outs to before we take off. What are some of the movies that you guys want to show some love?
You go first, Sabrina.
Okay, sure. I just saw Forbidden Fruits. I thought that one was really fun. It's not perfect by any means. It's definitely trying to lean into that kind of like 90s to early 2000s camp. Thinking like Jawbreaker, Jennifer's Body, all of those kinds of things. So it was really fun for what it was. And then so it was that one. I saw Undertone, and that one was really fun. Again, another cool, like interesting horror movie. I think the directorial choices made to kind of like build up the atmosphere and tension is something that I haven't seen too much of. So that one was cool. And then I saw The Mummy. I did not care for The Mummy though at all. The Lee Cronin's Mummy.
Email.
Oh my God.
Yeah. What about you, RB3?
Yeah, we could oh yeah, we could do them. I know we probably gotta go, but we could do them. We could do, if you have more thoughts on those. I didn't see any of them. I did. I did see Forbidden Fruits. But yeah, I kind of it's not my kind of movie. You know what I'm saying? But but like we and Undertones. It's funny actually. Me and my boy. Well, actually, I didn't watch it, but my boy John Marin watched it on Real Ones recently, and he actually broke it down so well that I almost cut it out as a separate video. I even made this thumbnail for it. But yeah, he broke it down very well. He really got down to like the film analysis of it. It was just a great review. But this, honestly, I'm scared of movies like that. You know what I'm saying? Scary.
It wasn't that scary. I will say it was more like that, like atmospheric, like tension versus like the jump scare. Because I was also worried about that too, even though I love horror. I think it's like accessible horror, especially now that it's like, I think it's out on like VOD or streaming or whatever. I think if you're watching it at home, you'll feel okay. Some of the demonic chants, I was like, ooh, should I be listening to this in my home right now? Like, I don't know if I was like, ooh, like saging or something. But actually the film that I totally forgot to mention, which was my favorite out of this bunch, was ERUPCJA. With Charlie XCX. Did you see it, RB3?
No, I didn't. But I want to. I want to talk. I want to like we should definitely talk now. But I definitely want to do a video where we talk about all the Charlie XCX stuff because she's been killing it. She's been killing it this past year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, obviously I'm so down for that. I absolutely adore her. And in this one, it's really cool. This is like an 80-minute film.
Oh,
It's very like mumblecore French New Wave vibes. Centers on a woman is on a trip with her boyfriend. She knows he's going to propose to her, and she kind of has a lot of history where she takes the trip, which is in Warsaw, Poland. And so she meets up with like someone from her past, and she kind of goes on this like crazy journey with him, her, just all of the above. And it's just really, really cool. Like the editing choices and just different things like that. And it is beautiful. And also very naturalistic. You know, I think some of the dialogue and story was there, but they kind of filled in the gaps, like the actors themselves and the director as it was all happening. So I just think that's very felt and it makes it feel super, super like authentic. There was only one theater in LA that was showing it, so I like ran there, which was the Landmark Newark.
oh, really? Hey, we had the
Yeah.
Landmark preview screening. There we go.
Yeah, so that was like my second time there, first one being the Landmark Peruria screening, but yeah, it was beautiful. I like saw it on a Sunday evening, went to the beach beforehand, and it's just like a gorgeous like Sunday cinephile day. I loved it so much, but that's actually my second favorite movie so far of this year.
Oh, nice. Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta.
I
Crazy.
highly recommend it. Like it's definitely it's very very breezy, very fun, but it's heavy in so many ways and just absolutely stunning. Like I cannot say enough good things about it, but I don't want to spoil it at the same time, so I can't get into it too much.
Is it starring Charlie X? Is she the
Yeah,
girlfriend?
she's the
Okay.
lead. Yeah.
Interesting. How is she as an actress?
I mean, I don't know. Did you see The Moment, RB3?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like she
Great.
was really great in The Moment. And so for this one, I think because it was very mumblecore vibes, like they were kind of coming up with the dialogue as it went on, it really felt just so natural. And so I think she was really, really great in this one, and also the Polish actress as well. Let me get some of these names actually, because the director is Pete O's, who has done films like Jessica. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, like he has a few and of some short films, but then one of the other actresses, I think this one's the Polish actress. Her name is Lena Gora. So
Oh, okay.
just yeah, overall really, really recommend that one. Jeremy O'Harris is in it as well.
Oh, see. Okay. See, I don't actually. What's he been in? What's
He's like a producer. What else? What was the thing he was just in? Oh, he was in Emily in Paris, but
ah.
he's like a playwright, actor, and screenwriter. So he's kind of most known for all of that.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. 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 See. Okay. Okay. I gotta. You.
He did Slave Play in 2018, and that got him like the award for the Tony Award.
Oh, okay. Okay. A very interesting name for a play, but like I love it though. I love it. That's I gotta check that out. No, I actually do love Charlie XCX's filmography. Like I think her recent stuff, The Moment. She had another one that she was 100 Nights of Hero or something like that. That I snuck into late last year. That was kind of fun. And of course, like doing the music for Willie Hines. Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. I need to watch this. I'm a huge Charlie XCX fan. So, damn, it was only in one theater, but I need to peep that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Charlie as well. So I'll
Sorry, I was
definitely
gonna
check
say
that out.
Jeremy O'Harris. I was trying to think of what it was. He also co-wrote Zola.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Oh, well, hey, well, actually, speaking of Zola, we'll save this at the end of the show. At the very end of the show, you'll be seeing a preview of a roundtable Q&A that I did with, well, not I, a lot of us film critics did with the cast and crew of Is God Is, the new Amazon original, sorry, not Amazon original, Amazon MGM / Orion movie that is coming out in theaters next week, May 14th. So, actually, the director of Zola, Jaxia Bravo, was actually a producer on Is God Is as well. So, yeah. So, and she was part of that Q&A. I don't think anybody asked her a question. I kind of meant to. My question, I don't know. You'll see. I have a question in there. Friend of the show, Mike Swalwell. I kind of put his answers in there just because we love Mike Swalwell, and then the homie Nigel Campbell's, you'll see has a cameo in there too. But anyway, yeah, I love that one. The only other movie I really saw was, again, going back to Queen and Halfway, Mother Mary. Actually, before I get into Mother Mary, though, the one thing I forgot to say about Devil Wears Prada 2, what was up with Justin Theroux, man? Did they CGI him looking skinny like that? Like, what was...
Oh my God. I was just telling Brandon this. I didn't realize that was him the entire movie.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I actually didn't even know until literally like 2 days ago. And I saw the movie maybe 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago at this point. I think whatever. I saw this movie a hot minute ago. Did not recognize him. I think they did the perfect thing because, again, this kind of actually goes, like, I mean, Met Gala was literally yesterday, and I don't know if you guys know, but like Jeff Bezos sponsored it. So a lot of people like Meryl Streep, who was supposed to be going kind of as promo for Devil Wears Prada 2, she didn't go. Zendaya sat it out. A lot of people sat out the Met Gala specifically because Jeff Bezos paid $10 million to have himself and Lauren Sanchez Bezos be honorary co-chairs. You could just buy any title in this country, truly. They were honorary co-chairs. What does that even mean? Who knows? If he really wanted to donate to the arts, he could have just donated the money to the Met Gala. He did not have to make himself and his wife, who clearly was the one that kind of spearheaded this concept, probably, being co-chairs. But anyway, Justin Theroux in Devil Wears Prada is obviously supposed to be a play on like the Elons, the Jeff Bezoses, all of those. And no spoilers, because again, there's a million things to talk about with this movie. But what ends up happening, stunning, juicy. This is what cinema is all about. You know what I'm talking about, RB3, right? With the one actress who will not be. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah. But no, that was funny. No, that was really, really, that was top tier funny. And it was also kind of it was kind of slimy how they had him looking too, because they had him with the big head, like he got off Ozempic, like kind of like that Ozempic body, which is like, I know it has to be CGI because I had just saw Justin Theroux in Running Point, that Netflix show, literally last week, and he was buff. Like, he's always in great shape. He's always been one of those actors that's in great shape. In this movie, he was looking skinny. He was looking short. He was looking small. Like, I don't know how they did that. I don't know if he actually like lost the weight for that or like if they CGI'd him for that. But that was a wild like kind of transformation for sure, because he was definitely unrecognizable. His hairline was really trash. Like, oh, it was bad.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. And it's so insane. He really is one, to me, like, I never recognize him in anything he pops up in, but this one was the most. Because I love him in Mulholland Drive. Like, one of my favorite performances, one of my favorite movies. I never notice him in anything. Like, I find out later, I'm like, oh, that was Justin Theroux, but this one was the most egregious.
Yeah, that was crazy. Sorry, what were you doing?
No, I was going to say, I don't think I've seen him in much. Only thing I know him from
Definitely have. You just don't pinpoint him.
He's in The Last Jedi for 5 seconds.
He
sure is. Yeah.
All Out, Beetlejuice, American Psycho, Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle.
Okay.
Like, he has
I probably have seen him.
Inland Empire. He's in a million things.
Yeah.
I never clock him.
I think he also co-wrote Iron Man 3, if I'm not mistaken.
He did, yeah. He did, yeah.
Like, really enough.
Yeah.
He's in Parks and Rec. I don't know if you watched that one, but
wait, which one?
What was I gonna say?
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. Okay, no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say this. Running Point. You said you were watching. How is that show?
I love.
I was actually thinking about starting it.
I love Running Point. Well, actually, shout out to my friend from high school, Lauren.
It's like a basketball movie, right?
It's a basketball show. Yes,
right?
Yeah, basketball show. It's based on the life of Jeannie Buss, so the owner of the Lakers.
Oh, no way.
You know, the only woman basketball owner in the NBA.
Yeah,
so Jeannie Buss actually produces this show. It's like Lucy based on her life. Recent Oscar nominee Kate Hudson, you know, is the main star of it, playing like a fake Jeannie Buss. Yeah, it's a fun show.
Funny.
Jay Ellis is in it.
Brenda Song,
yeah, she's like one of the funniest characters. Justin Theroux, yeah, it's a really stacked cast and it's really fun. And actually, a friend of mine from high school, her partner, I think, Brendan or Branson, I don't know, actually, whatever his name is. He was a writer on Running Point season 2. I don't know if they had him back or he was a writer on Running Point season 1. I don't know if they had him on for season 2. But shout out to the homie. Shout out that show. I love that show. I binged it like basically in one night because I love it. It's basketball, it's comedy, it's women. I love everything about it. So, salute to Running Point. Netflix, if y'all need a director or writer for season 3, hit me up because, I love the Lakers. But yeah, anyway, I've been watching that. I've been watching Beef on Netflix too, which is also phenomenal. That definitely deserves its own review too. It might even be low-key. Might low-key be better than season 1. It was a slow burn. It's a slow burn to get there, but by the time episode 4 hits, it's like, ooh, it's like unforgivable beef. Like for both of them, you're like, ooh, they gotta kill each other. Like, and I didn't even finish it yet. I'm on episode 7. I don't even know how it ends, but it's like, ooh, it's like they cut it too close with each other on that one. But then also the standout movie for me, I know you said, what was it, ERUPCJA? How do you pronounce that?
ERUPCJA.
ERUPCJA is your number 2 movie of the year. I found my number 2 movie of the year, maybe my number 1, but definitely my strong number 2, and that is Mother Mary, the new film from David Lowery. And look, y'all know how I feel about David Lowery. Y'all know I don't like a lot of this guy's movies, man. Like, y'all know I have a hard time with his movies. Y'all know I didn't like Ghost Story. I didn't like the Peter Pan joint he did. You know what I'm saying? I have a hard time with his movies sometimes. But every now and then he can come out and he can make a smacker. And this one, literally one of the most beautiful, challenging, artsy, but also not art for the sake of being overly artsy, actually having some meaning to it, like this kind of visualization of this ghost through like fashion. It's like this combination of fashion and music and performance and just everything just like gorgeous about cinema. And it's just a 2-hour acid trip. 2-hour acid trip that's gorgeously acted by Anne Hathaway and Michaela Cole, who Michaela Cole is having a kind of a year in her own right, between the Christophers and this one. But man, I love this movie, Mother Mary. Easily my number 2 of the year so far. Might be my number 1. I gotta really sit down and think about it and watch it a couple more times. I don't think it's for everybody, of course. Just like Green Knight, which Andres, we did our David Lowery episode and we talked about Green Knight. I didn't really like that movie at first when I first saw it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was kind of still not able to wrap my head around it. It took me a couple years to even kind of start appreciating that one a little bit more. But yeah, sometimes it's a hit with this guy, sometimes it's a miss. But this one, I immediately felt it in the moment. It was like this is my kind of movie right here. I love performance art. I love capturing that kind of concert energy that we get here with the musician energy, but also like that fashion. Kind of with the Devil Wears Prada, how Michaela Cole is like basically got Anne Hathaway character's life in her hands by designing her costume for him. So it's very interesting, very trippy, hard to follow, but in a good way. I love it.
That's awesome. I'm really, really excited for that. Because yeah, when we did our David Lowery episode, I know Andres and I are like definitely a lot higher on his entire filmography than you are. And so it's a shame that we haven't seen it. We have to watch it so we could talk about it and do like a part 2 for David Lowery.
Yeah, that's the movie I was trying to see.
Yeah.
Like I was like a must watch for me, and I still haven't been able to watch it. So many things have come up for me that's one that I'm definitely gonna see, and fingers crossed I can see it in theaters because that's obviously my preferred way to watch it. There's a lot of music. There's a lot of Anne Hathaway performing and singing. I don't know if she's really doing her own singing. She might be. I mean, man.
Hello. Do you not remember Les Mis?
Oh yeah. True. She
can sing, yeah.
She's singing. That girl can sing.
Yeah. True.
Good point.
She might be gunning for an Oscar this year, though. Honestly, with Devil Wears Prada, with Mother Mary, with Odyssey, like you know what I'm saying? Like it might be one of those she might get a picking for. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Well, do you think she's having such a good career that people could potentially like make all of these kind of into like, here's your nomination, but it really represents your entire
career. Yeah. Do you feel like Odyssey will get some noms when it comes to acting? Obviously technical noms, but acting wise, you think Damon, Pattinson, what's his name? Tom Holland?
I don't know about Tom Holland, but
somebody in there.
There's no shade. I love you, Tom Holland. I love you, Zendaya.
Yeah.
Like I love your husband, Zendaya. But I don't think we can see that maybe for him. And I would love to be proven completely
Yeah.
wrong, but I think Pattinson could get in. I feel like Anne Hathaway absolutely will. Matt Damon, it depends on the other like best actor race, but I think he can definitely sneak in there. And also like Anne's won in the past. So it's not crazy for her all these years later. Again, for Les Mis, she won. So
True.
all these years later to get another nomination, potentially a win, who knows?
Yeah, it's funny how hard Pattinson has been going over the last couple of years. Like he's been in everything, I swear. And now he's coming up in Dune 2 as well, or Dune 3. My bad.
Yeah.
Dune 3 as well, and he's playing some crazy villain. I don't know. It's just insane how much this dude has been in. And I think low key, he's like the kind of guy, I think he said it in like an interview where he like literally like just shoots his shot and just like contacts directors. And it's like, hey, can I be in your movie? Which I think is crazy, but
part
yeah,
of Dune.
I think so. I think that's the
Working
story
on
I'm
the
referring to.
drama. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
working on the drama with Zendaya, and he's like, "Hey, can you get me into Dune?"
Yeah,
And like
and he literally got into Dune because of that. Yeah.
the 10-year-old girls that were out there watching Twilight are so vindicated right now. Like we knew
Yeah,
from
dead
we
ass.
saw him on screen. He is an actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that first scene where he's
So
like
good.
tripping balls and like shivering when he sees Homegirl.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a real acting right there. It's like,
Get
yo,
the
that's
skin
a
of the
future
killer,
star.
Bella.
No,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
Hold on
When the
tight,
papers
Spider-Man.
fly, when she opens the door and his papers fly, he's like,
Yeah.
incredible acting. Yeah. And Kristen Stewart too. She's a talent. She's a crazy
Absolutely.
talent.
She,
So shout
I
out to her.
watched her. I don't know if you guys saw the chronology of water.
I was gonna see that, but I have not seen it. Yeah.
Beautifully directed, like
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful. It kind of goes in with what I was saying with ERUPCJA, where it's like so many very interesting stylistic choices
Mhm.
that I really appreciate. So like obviously this is only her first film, but her sensibilities as a filmmaker were really on display.
I wrote a
know
podcast.
Oh, my bad. That
Oh.
was accident. Sorry.
No,
my
it's
bad, my
okay.
bad.
I know she bought the Highland Park Theater, and
Mhm.
so that's really awesome. So that's another person. The two stars of Twilight that everybody clowned on are two people that are helping to save cinema.
Low key.
Yeah.
So that's
Low-key.
this is our Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, because you know how Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise were married, divorced, both of them are saving cinema.
That
This are Gen Z,
Low key.
Tom Cruise. Yeah.
There we
Yeah, in a
go,
way,
there we
yeah.
go.
Were they ever really a couple in real life?
Yes.
yeah, they're married.
They were? Okay.
Serious.
They,
No, they
I
were
mean, Nicole Kidman and
Oh no, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, yes.
No, I'm talking about Kristen and Ron Pattinson.
Yes, but they
Oh,
were
they
also
were
a couple. Yes,
They were? Okay.
And that was the
My bad.
infamous breakup where she hooked
Yeah.
up with the director. Yeah, it was it was
Yeah,
crazy
I
times,
remember
man.
that. And then I
Yeah,
saw him
yeah.
with the director.
Yeah.
I think even like
I met him when he did Ghost in the Shell.
Oh really? Oh, you
And
interviewed
then
him?
his
Oh,
career
for
just
schmoes.
bombed, bro.
Yeah.
His career just bombed after that.
should have asked him
Um,
about that.
Yeah,
for
I know
real.
we
Like,
should have
why'd you
asked him.
break up America's couple?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
How was he
Yeah.
so trash that she turned lesbian? All right, never mind.
But also, that's what I'm saying. That the fact that she's not even like into dudes anymore.
yeah,
It's
that
even
kinda
more
felt-
Gen Z.
Well, it's also the fact that that kind of shows you the kind of man Robert Pattinson was. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, it doesn't.
he was a real one, and that's what they say. He's like in the interviews they say he's like hanging out with films, like hanging out with the girls. You know what I'm saying? Like Zendaya said that, and then I think Florence Pugh. You know what I'm saying? So
I think his current partner too, her name is Suki Waterhouse. She's like a model, actress, singer. She talks about it like she'll be like in an Uber because they have a child together and they're still currently dating. I don't think they're like engaged or married, but she says like she'll be like in an Uber or whatever talking to him and he loves to gossip. He's just like one of the girlies. And so the Uber driver will think she's talking to like her friend, her sister, her mom, something like that. And meanwhile, it's her man.
oh wow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he went hard in the drama too, which I thought was funny.
Oh my
going
gosh.
hard
it
in
was
that film.
good. But I do think Kristen Stewart is bisexual, but
Mm.
Oh, okay,
is now-
okay,
and yeah.
there we go.
Yeah. I think she's great. I've been a Kristen Stewart defender since forever. Ghost Shopper, I think is what the movie's called. That's
Personal
an
Shopper?
underrated Personal Shopper. Personal
Yeah.
Shopper is a great movie, and I think she's great in that too. That's one of my Kristen Stewart favorites. So
Yeah. No, it's great. No, she's killing it. I know we gotta get out of here soon. So I just want to end with one more thing. Now that we're talking about Anne Hathaway being in so many roles, Robert Pattinson being in so many roles, and Dave being in so many roles, the Academy recently changed their rules. The Academy recently changed their rules to allow actors to be nominated in the same category for multiple films now. So in previous years, an actor could be nominated in Best Lead Actor or Best Supporting Actor, but you could not be nominated in Best Lead Actor for two different films. Like, you'd have to pick one or the other. And, that was a big incident with Kate Winslet with The Reader versus, what was the other movie she did in '08? It was The Reader versus something else. I forgot off the top of my head. Revolutionary Road, I think it was. They had to basically pick, which role they nominated her for. And they ultimately was The Reader, and she ended up winning the Best Actress Academy Award for The Reader. But even the week before, she had won the SAG Award for Revolutionary Road. So it was kind of weird. So anyway, that corrects this problem. It does kind of make it an interesting race, because now with, like we talked about, Anne Hathaway having 3, really great performances this year with Mother Mary, Devil Wears Prada, maybe Odyssey. Zendaya has multiple things coming out. Robert Pattinson has multiple projects that could be award contenders. Does that kind of split the vote for these actors now that they have multiple things that could be nominated for? Or does it kind of help, that they can be nominated for multiple things? I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I feel like it would definitely affect maybe a potential win more so than a nomination, because I think it might be easier. Let's say, just for an example, let's say Robert Pattinson for the drama in Dune, or the Odyssey in Dune, or whatever combination you want to say. Let's say they're both in let's say Dune and the Odyssey, because that way he'd be both nominated in supporting. I think the nomination can still go through, but when it comes to the win, I feel like it'll be hard for people to kind of you would have to do a consensus. It's kind of like what's happening in LA for our current election, where it's everyone has to lock in because there's so many choices. And to get the 2 people on the ballot. Yeah, I think it might affect a win more than a nom.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, I think if anything, the double nomination, or the idea of a double nomination, gets a little bit more attention. But in reality, I still think it'll go with the most. I still think there'll be one that comes up and feels like it's clearly more worthy of awards than the other one, in my opinion, in general. And then I think people will kind of lean towards one instead of doing a double nomination kind of thing.
Yeah, we kind of have, and I mean, we'll see it too, because I think the Oscars benefit from being last, where we kind of see so many, certain people sweep, like Jessie Buckley this past year, or still things are up in the air. But I feel like a lot of the times when it comes to actor, of course, there's somebody who might come out of the gate, like Michael B. Jordan towards the end of that award season. But I already feel like people have an idea of at least the top 2, maybe top 3 if it's a tight year, of who could be up there. And I think they would narrow it down to one of those choices. But it could still split.
Yeah, Academy nominations is weird. I think this last year was a funny example of how things can just turn on its head. As far as movies that get love and attention. So you just never know. So
yeah, no, I think and then to get more specific about how the rules worked previously versus now, it like you said, Sabrina, it will probably affect the nomination process more, because in previous years, if there were 2 performances that were kind of going against each other in the same, if one actor had 2 performances in the same category, they would take the one that got the lowest amount of votes and give that to the 6th nominee or whatever was in. So it never counted towards the nomination to begin with. So now you do have the opportunity to have multiple nominees. Who this would have affected, a lot of people, the biggest example going back to Timothée Chalamet, they pushed him heavily for A Complete Unknown back in 2022. Warner Brothers could have had a campaign for him for Dune Part 2, but they instead, chose A Complete Unknown. Maybe we could have seen a Best Actor nomination for Dune Part 2. There's countless examples that's happened in recent history, but I think this year in particular, again, we keep talking about Odyssey, all these big movies that are coming out all throughout the year. There's a lot of big overlap So when it comes to like these performances, that it could make it kind of tricky, you know. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see who goes in what category. Does Timothée Chalamet get another nomination for Dune Part 3? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Does anybody get, you know, love for Dune Part 3? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was thinking, I'm like, is anybody gonna get, because Dune like did not get any attention last Oscars,
yeah.
like at all. Not even
At
in
all.
like technical categories where it could have totally
Yeah.
taken away. Oh, you know, wait, no, that's a different subject. But
Duncan, Idaho is back.
Oh.
Jason Momoa.
Okay.
Best supporting actor. Not playing. But I could see it. I could see Timmy getting some love for Dune 3, depending on how dense the role is. Has Denny? I'm probably wrong, but has Denny gotten an actor in Academy Award nomination? Any of his movies?
And I'm sorry, Amy Adams for Arrival was
Okay.
very, very heavy contender.
You're
She was
right.
the front runner.
That's
she didn't
right.
win that year.
I think that's the only one, right?
I think
I
so.
want to say that's the only one.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think he's known for kind of pushing those award performances, I guess. Even though all his movies have great performances in them. But
I know Benicio del
very
Toro.
interesting.
Benicio del Toro had a lot of heat for Sicario as well, but he didn't get nominated for the Oscar. For
That's
that
true.
year. Yeah.
That's true. Also, is this the year, just to clarify, is this the year that it's the first year for stunts? Like next year it'll be awarded for stunts
I think
based on this year?
so. I
Or is
think
it the
so.
following year? Because then that'll be fun. For me, that's a fun one because I get to talk about the Odyssey, Dune, Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat's not gonna get nominated. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say probably not.
No.
Hey, I mean, at this point, you never know. Again, Suicide Squad won Best Hair and Makeup,
That's
and
the thing.
makeup wasn't even that good. Besides, what was
You
his name?
nailed
Like
it.
Killer Croc.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the thing. I think this is gonna be such a litmus test for like what people define as stunts. I think people are just gonna be like, "Oh, remember when someone did a backflip in that movie?" I don't know, man. It's gonna be weird. Some old people at the Academy are gonna pick some
my
weird
gosh.
ass.
The other one, Street Fighter. Could you imagine if the Street Fighter movie
Yeah.
was, like best stunts or whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be funny.
That movie looks chopped. I don't know.
I'm not watching that shit, bro.
Andrew Schultz.
No, I'm not watching that shit, bro. I am not.
I might watch it for 50 Cent. But by the way, they're introducing that at the 2028 Oscars for 2027 movies.
Okay, so it's the
2027
following
movies.
year.
Yeah,
Copy.
yeah. So
Damn, that's a bummer.
Yeah, we might not get
Street
it.
Fighter. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
Street
yeah.
Fighter. You might not get it this year, buddy. You know,
Mhm.
Yikes.
Street Fighter 2. You have another shot in the future.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Crazy. Good
Yeah.
times.
I know we gone for a super long time, y'all. Let's get out of
Yep.
here. I just wanted to check in with the chat real quick, super quick. Devontae Hutley said, finally caught alive and missing the last few. I give Michael a 1 out of 5. Sorry, but the man's story is too rich to squeeze 20 years of into a 2.5-hour film. The TV series would have been better. Kind of agreeing with Sabrina on that one, Devontae Hutley. Enter Linman said it's the year and halfway, and Zendaya. 100% agree with that. And then Ed M331 said, Ed 331 had a couple interesting ones. He said, talking about the black tax as a gay man, I've seen the quote unquote gay tax change from negative in the 90s to now a positive even when the film doesn't deserve it. Interesting.
I'd be curious to know which ones that he's referring to, just out of curiosity. Because to me, I'm like, you know, when it comes to like a Bottoms or, you know, Call Me by Your Name, I'm like, I think those are fairly rated, but I'm curious to know which ones he's referencing.
I'm very curious too. I know some people didn't like Love, Simon. I know Love, Simon was more controversial.
It was a show, right? TV show?
No, they had the TV show spinoff Love, Victor. But Love, Simon is not supposed to be like it's like a YA book. Like I wouldn't hold it. It's kind of like what we're talking about with like The Slop. This is like the feel good family coming out story.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nah,
It helped
definitely.
my cousin come out. That's how my cousin came out. So shout out Love, Simon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, salute to that one. All right. No more slander of Love, Simon.
No more
ever.
Love, Simon slander, guys.
Yeah, no more slander. But yeah, and then he had a couple other good ones, but we are running really out of time, y'all. So Yeah, I did.
What you got coming up for the show, man?
Yeah, well, we're gonna be done here, but stay tuned if you're watching live. The last 5 of y'all watching, it looks like. I have a preview for the new film. Oh, I'm sorry. I did a roundtable with the African American Film Critics Association for the new film Is God Is. I should have a review coming. I think Wednesday is the embargo date. So like, tomorrow, Jesus. Okay. But yeah, we did a roundtable. Again, I had a couple questions. My man Mike Swalwell, friend of the show, he's been on Sabak the Block. Y'all have seen him. He also, I have a couple questions from him because he had a couple good ones. And yeah, it's about a 7-minute clip. So stick around and watch our Q&A with the cast of this amazing movie. And but we're about to dip. So follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DirectorRB3.
Sabrina.
You can follow me on Twitter and TikTok at Sabrina on Film, and then Instagram at Sabrina.onfilm.
You can follow me at Squad Leader Ace. Make sure you follow us at First Cut. Make sure to subscribe to our Star Wars channel as well, Sabak the Block. And make sure you guys check out this roundtable interview with RB3.
Yeah. The whole thing is going to be on the. I'll link it in the description. But thanks for watching, y'all. Thanks for watching. All right.
You getting at me equals a bloodbath. Only one can remain. It's either me or you. Only one can remain. It's either me or you. Only one can remain. It's either me or you.
Michael Soul from Washington, D.C. My question is for Vivica Fox. You portrayed so many powerful Black women throughout your career, but this story really digs into how trauma shapes identity. As a Black woman, but also a veteran in this industry, how did this role challenge and deepen your understanding of the line between surviving trauma and being defined by it?
Well, the beautiful thing about me playing the character Ruby was a catalyst and basically set off the revenge mission. So for me, even though it was traumatic playing a burn victim, it was satisfying that my girls went and accomplished the mission. And then also along that journey, we got to learn 2 other women that were deeply affected by the monster. And we learned their stories as well, too. So
from First Cut. And my question is actually to Riva and Kishori and actually the whole producer team. Making independent film, especially in this era, is extremely difficult, especially with this kind of, strong Black-led story and from first-time writer and director. What were some of the challenges in being able to get this movie made and getting into a theatrical release?
Yeah, I can start, but I think the thing it is very hard right now, but it's really rare to get a script of Alicia's caliber on anyone's desk, even if you're a veteran. And it was just on the page so undeniable. There were multiple studios who actually wanted to do this because it was that strong. And that's rare on the producing side to be able to engage with work like that. So I would say the strength of the writing, there was no cast attached. It was just the script, but I think the potential was so clear and the genre world was so clear.
I don't have much to add to that. I think that's exactly right. It's rare to get your hands on a story that it is as fully realized as what Alicia had done with the play. And so all of us came together really to surround her in the execution of what would be her debut. And like Kishori said, we had multiple offers from studios, which is extraordinarily rare, with no cast attached to it, truly just on the basis of what Alicia put together and wrote, and got really lucky with the studio of Orion coming in and fully committing to the movie and surrounding us with a lot of patience, a lot of time, and a lot of attention, and then really supporting it with a full and wide theatrical release, which doesn't happen nearly as often as it should for movies that are original and are these sort of genre blends that have meaning to them and something to say, but also are fun and poppy and cool and interesting to watch. So I feel like a huge shout.
Yes, my question is for Janelle, Erica, and Tessa. All three of you have established careers working with massive ensembles, particularly with women, telling stories about their strength. And I just want to know with this story, what resonated with you to assign to this project, but more importantly, work with these amazing co-stars.
Yeah, I think when I read the script, I was blown away. Like it really was one of the best scripts I'd ever read. And it's so hard, whether you're a musician or you're a writer, director, to find your tone, to find your perspective, your unique thing. And I think what the writer and director Alicia Harris has done and did for me when I was reading it was find her tone. And the way that she has brought this to life with the cast that she picked was just like the icing on the cake. I mean, I found myself crying during the script, laughing. I saw myself as a fan in the theater eating popcorn, ready for this original Southern Gothic Western. And so I think it had all the things, you know, that I'm attracted to. I want innovation. You know, I want cinematography. I want the cast. I want to also work with a loving director like Alicia Harris. I mean, the strength that she had, it came in peace. It came in a smile. And it came in her knowing what she wanted and being collaborative. And it's just such a great recipe for filmmaking and experiences. You're like, this was worth it. This was worth everything. And I think I'll close out my statement by saying I love that she highlighted so many so many voices, so many women's voices in this film. You know, when I think about people in my family, from my aunts to my grandmother to my cousins, we are so nuanced and complicated. And I think she highlighted the human experience. Even if you don't quite understand the shorthand of what it means to be a twin or to be a divine or to be God and seek revenge and to be Angie, you know, a character that I'm just like, how could you marry this monster? You know, I was conflicted. But then I thought, what if he lied to her? What if he was living a double life? But now you know these things, what do you do? And so I got to play a very brave character who was not concerned about being anybody's mom, anybody's wife, but really brave enough to find her joy and to pick up the pieces because she had been put through the ringer. So it was just so much it was just delicious for me to just like chew on and bite on and be a part of.
Sure. I'd say unapologetic genius. You could see it on the page. It was the best script I ever read, and I've been around for about 42 years, going on 43. I waited a long time for this moment. It's real. But what's also true is that she curated a group of people who have in their DNA unapologetic genius. It is not asking for permission to be an individual. It is unique into itself. It has a footprint and is the blueprint. So Alicia Harris is a herald of the future, as we all are. But what I'm looking forward to is the fact that this will unleash the funding and the recognition that some of the most underrated, underfunded, underestimated people in the world, Black females, can not only do, but be. And we're asking everybody that sees this film and that knows what's at stake, join us on this mission, because it is a mission, but also they get to take the ride. This shit is badass, for real. It ain't no joke, and it's telling you what it is out there. She's not the only one, and yet she is unique in all the world. Alicia Harris is a genius, and I'm so glad to have been asked that question.